Servus again from Munich. So there are quite a few changes now to this channel. Well, not actually to the channel, but yeah, everything that has that is related to doing videos and so on. Now the first thing is I've now got an iPhone of my own. No, I haven't become rich overnight. And I think even if I were rich, I wouldn't buy an iPhone because they are such overpriced things. They are nice, but they're not worth well above 500 or even near to 1,000 euros. Nah. Anyways, the bottom line is I now have got a decent camera all the time, whenever I want, which was about time, because who on earth still records in 4:3 format? Yeah, no one, except for me, which is embarrassing. But yeah, that's now over. I have an iPhone, and I've also got a new gadget. I have a new laptop. Now, I also didn't buy that. I got both the iPhone and the laptop from a very good acquaintance of mine, used, and he said, well, I wouldn't get that much money anyway, so you can have it. You need it, you can have it. So yeah, that's very nice. And the last thing that changed is I changed my channel name. Some of you might have already noticed that, but I thought, well, my old channel name, most of you don't even know where the Courier 6 theme is originating from, so I just changed it, and now it's much shorter, and it basically combines my two obsessions, which is aviation and orchids, because the EDDM bit is the ICAO code of Munich Airport, which is quite near. So yeah, perfect combination. So now that's over with. We can actually come to the point, and I'll show you my plants again. And no, this little Angraecum is not the main course today. What is that here, and that's my Oncidium sotoanum, and it finally has opened the first of its blooms. And believe it or not, I made the effort and counted the buds. I counted the buds that are so far developed that I can safely say that they will open and they will form a bloom. And I kid you not, I counted 165 buds on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spikes. Now, is that insane or what? And that are only the buds that are, well, in a state where I can see that they will develop. Focus. Or not. There are still some branches here and there lurking. So maybe it will get closer to 200 buds actually. And this is... I counted it twice, which was a real pain in the proverbial, but I did it. And yeah, about 160, might have missed some, might have counted some twice, but in the end, it's fine. But yeah, before I ramble on, I'll simply show you some nice close-ups of these blooms here, as best as I can. See if this can focus a bit better. No, it's wobbling too much. But yeah, you can see the blooms itself. They are not too big. They are about 2 centimeters tall. And yeah, they are not actually that shiny pink. They are more of a duller pink. Oh, they're still pretty. And they have the most delicate peachy blush here at the top of the lip, which I'm very, very happy with. And yeah, you can see there are some more buds to open, as I said. And if this spike here is in full bloom, this will be gorgeous because, yeah, additionally to these pretty blooms, they are highly, highly, highly fragrant. It's incredible. And to me, it basically smells like Christmas. I don't know. And it's much of a vanilla type. And there's much vanilla in the aroma. But there's also cinnamon and some other spices in there. And it's simply heavenly. And I'm quite curious to see, or smell rather, whether this fragrance will waft around in the room if all the buds here are open at the same time, which will be an incredible show. And yeah, what can I say? I'm very pleased with it. Now, to give you some info on the species, this is Oncidium sotoanum, as I said, formerly known as Oncidium ornithorhynchum, which translates into bird's beak Oncidium, but that is a completely different species. It's a yellow one, I guess. I haven't looked that up, but yeah. It comes from Central America and is a cool to warm growing orchid. So yeah, it basically can live everywhere. It can live in your cool bedroom, it can live in your living room, but it seems, according to the sources on the internet, they seem to like a bit of a winter rest. So if you can cool it down a bit in the winter and reduce the watering, they seemingly quite like that. And they are hardy, and they can take temperatures down to below 10 degrees. I tried that inadvertently, but I proved it lived. Then it lived the whole summer on my balcony, where it got quite some strong evening sun, unfiltered evening sun, which most of you would think is a quite daft idea to give an orchid that strong sun, but this here survived. It got some freckling on the leaves, but I think that's normal for most of Oncidium types. Their leaves don't always look very nice. In fact, in the wild they must be quite tatty looking objects because there's no one to clean them up. I actually cut some of the leaves. It were looking too bad, but yeah. And yeah, they don't get much taller than that, but this will get a huge clump. This will become a huge clump of pseudobulbs. They are quite tight together. And yeah, that's basically the growing habit. And it's an epiphyte, like most Oncidiums. Well, I think all Oncidiums are epiphytes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the vast majority of them is. I'm quite sure about that. And yeah, I got this almost exactly 1 year ago, about 1 year and 1 week ago, from Wichmann. Wichmann is a German orchid nursery which is located in the town of Celle, which is near Hanover, so it's quite in the north of Germany. And it came, let's see if it came with that pseudobulb, which was then about this size here. And let's turn it without breaking the spikes off. And this little tiny pseudobulb. And since then it has grown, obviously, these two pseudobulbs here, which themselves are already growing 2 new growth each. And even the older pseudobulb is chucking out another new growth. So, have I mentioned that this is a very vigorous plant? And back again to the blooms, I think some of you can see the quite big similarity, or the characteristic of the bloom is often found in those Oncidium intergeneric hybrids. And I would say that this went into some of them, because they're pretty blooms, it's fragrant, and it's a very, very, very vigorous grower. And as I said, cool to warm growing, so what much could you ask for? You can basically put it everywhere and it will grow one way or another. Oh yeah, and it's also a parent of Oncidium Twinkle. Oncidium Twinkle is a hybrid between this, Oncidium sotoanum, and Oncidium caerophorum, which is a yellow Oncidium, but that also has tiny blooms, but they are yellow. So yeah, stay tuned for pink sprays of fragrant flowers. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the fragrance or bring the fragrance to you, but yeah, it's readily available. It's not a rare species to get in a nursery, so yeah, feel free to buy one. You will have much joy with that. And if you like Oncidiums, this should be a must-have. That's my humble opinion anyways. So yeah. And more blooms to come from Dendrobium rhodostictum. That spike is growing at a hell of a rate. And also the other spike, which is coming in here. And the new growth is also growing beautifully, which is a huge relief after that plant failed for new growth. And this thingy here, I don't need him there. Let's do that. And there's the other Dendrobium antenatum, which is basically turning into a flippin' weed. It's growing like hell. It's really a joy to watch it grow, which you can almost do. Almost. Not quite, but almost. And what I also... Yeah, this is not a tentacle monster that is growing out of my kitchen sink, but for the time being it is actually. This is my Tradescantia pallida, which has grown quite a bit since the beginning of the year. Some of you might recall that it was a teeny tiny cutting, about that length here. Oh, it's also blooming. Very unexciting flowers, but they're still pretty. They have a nice color. And the shape is quite unusual. But yeah, basically this thing doesn't stand upright because of the sheer mass of these branches. It pulls the plant over and makes the top heavy. What I will try to do is pot it in a clay pot with ceramis and probably some big rocks in the bottom of the pot, because I wanted to place it in its old place, which would be here, but right now it won't stand up. Oh yeah, this will be interesting. And I landed with a kind of panoramic view. Yeah, that's my orchid table for you. They're just quite crowded, but at least 2 plants are to go. Not into the trash, of course, but to my mother. And yeah, don't know. I have some plants that I have the Perfupelum Pinocchio, which is not doing too hot, so maybe this will be a loss eventually. But yeah, I quite like the look of it. And especially if this Oncidium here is in full flood, this will be a showstopper. And not to forget my Catasetum. How could I forget that? Yeah, it has a new growth, a silly thing, as it had last year. And it's also growing at a rate, but with these huge pseudobulbs, you can imagine how much nutrients it has stored in there. This thing now is unstoppable. It's simply unstoppable. It will take over the world and, yeah, outlive us all. I don't know. But, yeah, this new pseudobulb is well above 20 centimeters tall. If you would straighten it out. It's a bit curved, so, yeah, but... yeah, it's on steroids. I must have secretly given it steroids or some other thing, or growth hormones, I don't know. insanity. But yeah, that's all for now. I probably try to film my doings with the Tradescantia to put it into Ceramis, which will be quite a struggle, I guess, but we'll see. Until then, I hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more high quality imagery instead of the stupid old thing. And maybe see you next time. Bye bye from Munich. I wasn't for the life of me able to film this repotting of this tentacle monster here. You see, it's much too unhandy. Yeah. And the bloom is also already gone over. Yeah, they only last half a day or something like that. And yeah, to make sure that it doesn't tip over and spill all the Ceramis on the floor and that the clay pot won't break, I put some weight on it, which is Zach, a can, and 2 rocks. Now it should be fine. And it can live here in this corner and take over the world. So yeah, that's that. I also got myself some posh labels. They are not that posh, but yeah, better than what I had before. And the orchids also got some. So that's all for today. Hope you like it and maybe see you next time. Bye bye.